and gentlemen, it's Charlie Fibrosis, and today I'm going to talk about a rather amazing experience I got to have over the weekend. It's part of the reason why I really didn't do any streaming or do any real recording for that matter, because I was busy. But the story is going to be great, and I think you all are going to enjoy it. So, here in Cincinnati, there was a convention called the KOI Federated Auto Parts Cavalcade of Customs. And what it is it's a giant car show that's been apparently going on well over 18 years now. Well over 19 years now as we're into the new year. And it's been going around for some time. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm a massive car nut when it comes to production cars or so. I'm more into the racing aspect of them. So I'm into sprint cars, I'm into NASCAR, I'm into IndyCar and other types of motorsports. But I will say I do like cars every now and then. I just don't know a lot about them. So originally, I wasn't going to go, but I heard something rather interesting. My dad let me know on Wednesday or Thursday, that that Dale Earnhardt Jr. was going to be attending this show. So, to give you a little bit of backstory, at least in my personal goals of people that I wanted to meet in my life, they were Richard Petty, Weird Al Yankovic, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, I've met more people than that, but those are the big three. Met Richard Petty back in 2009. Met Weird Al Yankovic in 2013. Dale Earnhardt Jr., only one left. So, for me, this was a situation of, this is probably the only shot you've got. And boy, did the weather decide to try and mess with me. Because here in Ohio, unfortunately, we got a massive amount of snow over the weekend. Started snowing at about maybe 4 p.m. Friday when I got home. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I remember waking up on Saturday morning, looking outside and thinking, wow, it's either really light out and I overslept, or there's a lot of snow on the ground and we're getting a ton of light reflection back into my window. Turns out it was snow, and quite a bit of it. So my dad took some time the night before and did do a little bit of cleaning of the car. I did a quick test and found that really there was no ice, thankfully, on the windshields. However, there was a good amount of snow. So I had to brush that off, clean it off. And here's the thing. It was kind of worrisome too. Because with the amount of snow and potential for ice that we had, it could cause the roads to become really, really messy. And I've never driven into the snow before. I've driven in the rain. I've driven in some slight powdery stuff. But I've never driven in snow as to what I had seen. Thankfully, City of Cincinnati did a really, really good job with keeping the roads clean. There were salt trucks all over, just dumping loads of salt and blowing the snow off to the side and getting everything cleared up. So it made my commute much easier. This is probably about like probably a 35-40 minute drive for me. And I got up at 5:30 in the morning, left at about 7, got to the convention center at about roughly 8 in the morning, and I stood in line. So I had my green Dale Earnhardt Jr. shirt on, had this hat, and I brought a card book with 3 hero cards and my 1/24th scale die cast of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 1998 Busch Series championship winning car. And here's the crazy thing. I was probably about 25th to 30th in line. I made it. And I made it there pretty darn early. And that was awesome. Because my logical thinking, and I was absolutely right in this, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I believe, won the most popular driver award for 17 years in a row, I believe. That's consecutive, by the way. It's a lot of times. A lot. So, also, with him being probably the most recognizable name outside of maybe Jeff Gordon to the general NASCAR, to the general populace, I figured that there would be a long line. And there was. Behind me. Good planning. So, got out, parked my car, got in line, everything else like that. I was let inside early, and I stood in line for 4 hours. Yep. He didn't start signing autographs until noon, and didn't arrive there until noon. And I stood in line waiting for about 4 hours. Now, along the way, things were actually pretty good. A couple guys right behind me, they were friendly enough. They sat and chatted with me for a little bit. Talked about different race cars that Junior drove. Talked about different drivers we'd like to meet in the future, and everything else like that. And this one guy, he brought in actually a lot of diecasts. I'm going to find the photo real quick. He brought in a lot of diecasts, though. And it was really, really cool, because he had them from all over different eras when Junior was racing. Here we go. I found it. Alright, so we're going to flip it over to the webcam, to here. And here we go. So here's some of his cars. So he's got Dale Jr.'s Wrangler car from like 1997, Junior's test car, Junior's Diet Mountain Dew car, The Dark Knight Rises, a Superman Dale Jr. car for a friend of his, the Coca-Cola Motegi race car, another Dark Knight Rises car, a Brad Keselowski car, which I don't know if he got signed, and then his Junior's 2016 car, his final race car at Homestead, and then his throwback car from Darlington in 2017. So, pretty cool there. So, with me at least, I brought 3 hero cards with me. I brought his 2016 one. I brought his 2008 Amp Energy hero card, because I happen to like that one a decent amount. And then I brought his 2003 Rock and Roll Tour. I think it was something that Chevy was doing with the whole Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond. I think it was a Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. I think that was the promotion that they were going with Budweiser back in the day. But I walked up and got my stuff signed. We'll actually go through some of the photos here in just a minute, and I'll tell you about them. So let's kind of do that. Alright, so here's the hero card that I had signed. This is just a scan of it. But we got to Blake, Dale Jr. This is me standing very, very close to the stage. Like I said, I was there pretty early, so I was just standing there, just waiting. And I wanted to show a good picture of me just standing close to the stage. This is the stuff that I brought. So I brought this, which is his 1998 championship winning car, which I'll show a little bit later. The original hero card, the Budweiser card, the Amp card. Now the thing was, is they said that he would only sign one thing. He was kind enough that he took the time and he signed all 4 of them and posed for a photo with me. So there he is up on stage, just getting there. This is a little bit later on, but I'll go ahead and talk about this now. This is lawnmower racing, which I thought was kind of interesting. A motorcraft car that was created, that was painted up, that was pretty slick. A custom, I think that's a Chevy Corvette there from the 60s. This is a sprint car racer that I met. Chris Olding is his name. Races in the tri-state area. I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing him race in the future. Nice guy. Local team with some dirt modifieds with Robbie Hensley as the driver. I do think I did see this car at Lawrenceburg Speedway when I went over the summer. So there's that. Robbie Hensley himself. Some NHRA stylized drag racers here. Lots of cool stuff. A Nissan Skyline decked out. Jaguar RX-5, I think it was called back in the day. Something like that. Got some good photos of that. Some demolition derby cars that were all beat up. Local school painted this car up, which looks pretty slick. And then back to the stage, back to the cars, back to my stuff. And this was actually kind of cool. A guy brought in one of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s helmets from back in the day and asked if I could take a couple photos of it. And this is pretty cool. That's really, really cool. And look at the skull design that they got going on up top. Very, very slick. This guy here brought a Nationwide helmet. This is probably $100-something, but I asked if I could take a couple photos, and he said yeah. One thing I wanted to say, never mind. Anyway, Junior doing some signings here, and then here we go. Here's me. Now, not all these photographs were taken really solid. He customized the Nationwide one, as you saw earlier. That one mattered a lot more to me, honestly, because I really, really liked the design of that particular hero card, and there was a lot of gray space to it that you could sign it there, so a couple of shaky photos. That's probably the best photo that I've got with him, unfortunately. And then I purchased this shirt, which you guys saw me earlier. I bought that at a seller nearby. And this is the Dale Earnhardt IROC Camaro that was on display. Very, very cool. Toyota. And then this is me inside of an old NASCAR. So this is painted up by a local Christian ministry or so. But the interesting thing is the body. Like, there is no engine inside of this, but this was originally Dale Jarrett's car from like 2003, 2004. And they just rewrapped it. Let me say this. I climbed into a NASCAR back in 2010, I want to say, when I went to Victory Junction. Now, granted, I was wearing snow boots in this case, but boy, it was hard to get in. Very, very hard to get in, very hard to get out. So I'm going to have to try to learn how to do a little bit better at that. Corvette Stingray, which is pretty cool. I think a Chevy Camaro SS, a Chevy Corvette, and that's pretty much everything there. So, back over to the webcam. So, yeah. I talked with Junior for just a few moments. I asked him to personalize the autograph with my first name onto the nationwide one, and he was more than happy to oblige. Um, uh, he he asked how I was doing, and I said, "This is the greatest day of my life." And as funny as it is, he said, "You married yet?" I said, "Nope. This isn't the greatest day of your life yet." Then, and I just kind of cracked a smile at that. You know, didn't take anything bad of that because I think not to get too super analytical here and not to be mean or anything like that, but I think for a lot of NASCAR fans and for a lot of Earnhardt fans, we kind of wondered if Junior would ever get married or have a kid or anything else like that. And I think especially now with him being done racing and everything, and just kind of now having a family life, something that he can appreciate, and not to really be mean in this regard, but there's a lot of stories about Dale Earnhardt, being a great race car driver, but kind of having a difficult family life when it came to his kids and so. And I think, and this is good, this is absolutely good. I think Dale Jr. is very, very content with his life, and I have nothing but respect for him for that. Truth be told, I really, really hope that someday I can say, yeah, I'm married and very, very happily married. But at this time in my life, I'm not. So, that's all there is to it. So, I'm going to pause the recording on here because I'm going to flip to my iPhone and we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that I got. And I can talk about that stuff there. Now, let me actually talk about the pitch shirt real quick. I unfortunately picked this up in a size just a little bit too small. So I'm probably going to go ahead and iron this one out, and I'm going to wear it every now and then. But I got another one coming in from Fans Edge online, and that one I'm probably going to wear when I go to actual racetracks, and so I don't look as goofy. So yeah, that's really about it. Let's just go ahead and flip back over to the computer. Alright, let's talk about this. So this is the championship winning car that I mentioned earlier. I had him sign the windshield. This is actually really, really cool. I did actually mean to bring in a Dale Earnhardt Jr. hero card that I had from like 1998. Actually, it kind of looks similar to that one over there. I'll walk over there and show you. I kind of wanted to bring one of these in or so, but unfortunately I don't know, I kind of chickened out on it. I really figured that if he was only going to sign one thing or two things at most, the best I could get away with was maybe getting the diecast signed and then getting the nationwide one signed. I think if I had brought more stuff in, at least one of those Busch Series championship hero cards, I think he would have signed that easy. What I may do in the future is I may send one of them to Junior Motorsports and have him sign it then. So, that's good. Alright, let's look at the last couple of things I got, and that were these two. So I don't know if you can see them all that well, but that's his Homestead Miami final race car that he drove in the 2017 season. And I don't know what it is. It's actually a pretty simple scheme, but I also got a 1/24th scale of his 2016 car. So, got that too. Alright, so long story short, I had a really fun weekend. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is someone that I've wanted to meet for many, many years now. He was my favorite driver from 2003 through 2017. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been, well, officially, as of the conclusion of the 2018 season, it's now been one full year since he's retired. But you know what? Really cool dude. Really, really cool dude. And the other thing that I wanted to mention too is he is, despite the whole setup that they had with rules like one autograph per person, at most two, kind of went against that, and it was cool. It was rather nice. I mean, I know that NASCAR drivers are usually pretty lenient, pretty flexible on signing stuff typically, um, depending on the venue and so. But guys, there were some people that brought in a tote's worth of cars, like 8 cars inside of one tote. Some people had helmets along with them too. Some people had, I mean, when I'm talking about totes, I'm talking like this big and about that wide, and they were just filled with the 124s, you know? And they had them all lined up, ready to go. So all it had to be was, and there you go, over and done with. But it was really, really nice. I thank Dale for writing his most recent book, Racing to the Finish. That's actually something I do want to talk about real quick. Regarding the contents of this book, I have not read it completely yet, but I also picked up the audiobook version. Just as a forewarning, if you're looking for the audiobook version and you think that Dale is going to read through the entire book, no. He had someone else do most of the voice work for the book itself. I think Dr. Petty, who worked with Dale during his concussion, he does an introduction, and then Dale Jr. does another introduction, but the bulk of the book is read by someone else. But talk about this novel real quick. This is a really good read. For me, being a Junior fan, I thought that 2014 was his best year at Hendrick Motorsports, with 2015 being a close second. The only reason why I say that is Dale managed to go on and win the Daytona 500, won both Pocono races, and won the Martinsville race that season. So he knocked out 3 racetracks that he never really won at before. And in 2015, I know he won the Talladega race. I can't remember what other 2 races he won. But the truth of the matter is, and I'm not going to divulge too deep into this, Dale was not completely healthy when he won those later races. He was still suffering from concussion-like symptoms well into those years. And even though he felt better after his 2012 concussion and gained the recovery he needed there, he did take some interesting hits that, unfortunately, it was kind of a build-up of hits in 2014, hits in 2015, and then eventually the Michigan hit in 2016 that took him out the second half of the season. And just reading about that, it's put a whole different spin on it. As the racing fan, you look at it and you say, and you see, this is my driver. He's doing great. Anything and everything that is off the track does not matter. And this is his best season ever. Nothing was wrong with him. But when you pull back the curtain, kind of like in The Wizard of Oz, you see some messed up stuff in this case. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. In a sense, I kind of think that, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. announced his retirement in 2017, I was like, okay, I kind of expected that. I really thought he was going to be able to make it until 2020 and then retire then. But reading and listening through this book, it's best that he retired in 2017. I don't think he really could have lasted much longer with as many blows or little bumps to the head that he was getting. And yeah, it's put a whole different perspective on things. Part of me is still very much, big root and big fan for the seasons of 2014 and 2015. But reading the book, listening to the audio book, puts a very, very different light on it. And it's kind of sad. But I think more than anything, I think that this book will definitely help people open up who have had head injuries, and I hope that this does nothing but the best, you know. I hope this becomes a bestseller in every way and shape and form. It's a good read. If you're a junior fan, I think you would absolutely want to read it anyway. But even if you're a casual NASCAR fan, this is one of those books that you need to sit down and read. I got a book on Bill France Jr. I got a book from back in the late 90s. I think it's like Days and Nights of the NASCAR Tour or something like that. It takes place in like 1996. There's some really good NASCAR books out there. And I'd say if you're any fan, young or old, and you want to learn more about the sport and learn more about its rich history, there's some good reads out there. Driver Number 8 is a personal favorite of mine that I've loved reading quite a number of times. But this book is really good. So, well, that's about it, guys. I think I'm probably going to do another stream here pretty soon, and maybe take some time to get some laps in, getting ready for the race on Wednesday. But I'm going to go ahead and edit this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again next time. Goodbye.